Giving Tuesday is a movement about radical generosity. It's a place to completely reimagine what our world would look like if it was a world that was built on the value of generosity. I don't think it's a coincidence that that group is largely women. It was meant to be a very simple idea, a day of giving following the days of Thanksgiving, Black Friday, and Cyber Monday. We honestly didn't know that it was going to be a global phenomenon at that time. So we call those leaders hand raisers because we don't pick them out. They step forward, they raise their hand and get in touch with us, and they say, I really love this idea and I think I can do something really good for my community with it. And in the United States, those are disproportionately women. I would say 80% or so women. I think there's a bunch of different reasons for that. I think that women tend to be in their leadership capacities, as well as otherwise, very community oriented. Women tend to be highly collaborative. They tend to know innately that the best things are built by teams. So Giving Tuesday is that kind of community. These community leaders are highly interconnected. They are learning from each other all the time. I don't think it's a coincidence that that group is largely women. And then there's one last thing I would mention in terms of why I think that women are natural movement builders. In living in systems of oppression and often violence throughout our whole lives, we are invested in attacking problems at the root, that we really want to change oppressive and broken systems and structures. She has created literally a movement within a movement to have children leading the way on generosity in the ways they choose, not in the ways their parents or their teachers tell them are important. That is an amazing young woman. I think I see that as a real generational thing, and I think that girls especially feel like we're not going to take this kind of unfairness anymore. We're not, right? They're growing up in the age of Me Too. They're growing up in the age of women stepping forward and saying our voices will not be silenced anymore. They're invested, again, in seeing radical change. They want us to live in a different world. They don't want Band-Aids slapped onto the problems that they see around them. My daughter is 18, and her orientation towards social problems is simply that they're unacceptable. Like, it's not a question that she's going to decide to change them. So I think that young people are involved in Giving Tuesday because they see the opportunity to do that. The idea is that you do something good. It's impossible to measure exactly how many people do amazing things with it because they're not reporting in every smile they give to a stranger, every warm meal they bring to an elderly neighbor, every hour of volunteering. All of that stuff is largely immeasurable, but we know from the stories that pour in that they're happening by the hundreds of thousands, if not millions. So I want Giving Tuesday to create radical change at the community and systemic level. You see all of this systematic oppression, racism, misogyny, all of that is driven by a fundamental lack of generosity toward our fellow human. So I think that it's much more of a cycle than a linear line, right? That generosity could lead to more justice, and justice is not a replacement for generosity.